All right, let's get into how we are going to see where you are right now so that we can measure your progress as you move through the program. And there's lots of different ways to do that, but we're going to focus on gathering lots of data this week so that we have some assessments. So we know where you are and we understand the progress as it comes, because that's the part that's super exciting. All right, so let's go through this. We've got three types of really objective measurements. I only want you to collect two of these for sure this week. The third one is optional. I'll start with that one. So the one that is optional is the scale. The pro of the scale is that it is very simple to use. Most people do have a scale at home. It's also a very objective measurement. So there's not a lot of trial and error to it. But the con to that is that it doesn't really tell us the entire picture of what's going on, because it only tells us what your gravitational pull is on the earth. It doesn't tell us what that's made of. If it's made of fat, muscle, bone, water, if you're holding water weight, all of those things. So for some people, I know that it can create some anxiety, and I don't want that. If the scale is something that you're not comfortable using, please know that you do not have to throughout this. There are other ways of measuring progress. So reach out to me and let me know. Otherwise, that is an option. There's a place for you to log your weight. Let's go into body measurements. So the pros of taking body measurements is that it really does tell us a better story of your body composition, because typically your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your chest measurements will go down if you're losing weight, with the exception of the chest that could go either way. And then your chest, your biceps, your thighs, things like that might go up as you're gaining muscle. So when we're looking at it in conjunction with other forms of measurement, it can really tell us the whole picture of, are the things that you're doing helping you get closer to your goals? The con is that it's not always easy to take your own measurements, and it's not always easy to keep them accurate. Like, did I measure in this exact same place the last time I did this? So that's the con to it. My favorite here is pictures, and I do want you to take some pictures as you're starting this journey. I know that it's never fun at the beginning, but you will thank me for it. Trust me. So for pictures, the pro to that is that it captures your body composition changes and also any changes in your posture, which will come when you're doing this kind of mobility work and strength training. It can also be a really rewarding measure of your progress. The con is that it's a little bit more subjective. It might be uncomfortable. It's not always easy to take on your own. How to measure that change? I'd say if you're doing the scale, to go in there once a week, make sure that you do it the same time of day as soon as you wake up in the morning before you have anything to drink or eat, and just do it on the same day each week. I wouldn't go any more than that. And remember that when it comes to the scale, we're really not looking to measure changes week to week, but we're more so looking for trends over several weeks. So if you're up a pound or 5, from one week to the next, I wouldn't worry too much about it until we see that whole picture. If we're doing measurements or pictures, every 4 weeks is great. You can you may not see huge changes in every 4 weeks, but you'll see enough to know that if what we're doing is getting you in the right direction. And if not, then we change it, right? Because at the end of the day, this is science. We are trying to see what works and what doesn't. So we're going to start with a condition. We're going to apply variables to it, and then measure and see if those variables change the conditions in the way that we want it to. Okay. All right. Move this down. Whoops. Got to move this down here. All right. Some more subjective methods that I also want to get into are journaling. So I highly encourage that you take a daily journal so that you can kind of get a good idea of your mood, your stress level, how strong you're feeling, all of those things. I'm also going to ask you to do a weekly check-in. I will send out the reminder every Friday, and you will get a reminder again on Sunday that they are due by midnight. And then I will reply to them and make sure that I'm assisting you in any way that you need when I get those in. And then another subjective method, this is really kind of my favorite. You're going to have some surprise wins along the way. So something that you didn't even expect that was going to happen when you started this program, you didn't necessarily set out to change, could, just hit you one day like, oh my gosh, did I just get up off the floor without using my hands? Did I just, go down the stairs without turning sideways? Did I just go up a flight of stairs and not lose my breath? Or, running around playing tag and it felt good? Or I woke up in the morning and my back wasn't in so much pain. So these are things that would be examples of some of those little surprise wins that kind of, just send a little message to tell you that what you're doing is working and it's doing something. All right. And then as you continue through the program, the app that we use, Trainerize, it has tons of charts and graphs to keep track of all kinds of stuff. So depending on, how diligent you are about tracking a lot of your data, if you have an Apple Watch or if you have a Fitbit, even if you have an Apple iPhone but not the watch, you can connect it as Apple Watch and it will keep track of any steps that you do while you're holding your phone. If you have the Apple Watch, it'll keep track of all your steps and your heart rate. There's all kinds of things that you can put in there. And then over time, as you complete the workouts and you log, the weights that you use, the amount of reps that you completed, it'll keep track of that as well. And it'll let you know, okay, you were only able to do 10 of these last week. Now you're doing 12. Or maybe you were able to complete 2 sets last week. Now you've completed 3. You've increased your overall volume in this workout by X%. So that's really cool. The more diligent you are about really logging in all of those results from each workout is really going to show you all of those measures of progress as you go along. The other thing that it does, and we'll get into nutrition in the weeks to come. I don't want you to focus too much on that just yet, but the whatever kind of nutrition goal you have, whether we're working through habits or going in and diligently tracking, it's going to be different for each individual. But the app will also track how often you check off those habits or how often you come close to your nutrition goal. So you'll really get a good picture for how consistent you've been. And, all of this is useful. If you don't see the results that you're expecting, we're able to go back and look and say, okay, well, what could we do differently? And if you're being super consistent and you've got everything down that I'm asking you to do and you're still not seeing the results, then that's on me and we need to change some things. So, I really encourage you to keep track of as much as you possibly can so that we have as much data so that we really know what works and what doesn't to get you where you want to be. Okay. I am so excited about this. I think that is it. Awesome. All right. Let's on to the next video.